welcome to another episode of Wine and Chisme. And as I say every week, because it's every week, it's true, I'm excited about my guest. This week we have educator, fashion designer, all of the things, culture, visionary, Elvira Zamora. Yay! Hi, Elvira.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to talk to you and share all of the things that I like to. I guess I want to plant the seed in everybody's mind to just start thinking about it little by little. It's a very gradual progress, but I promise you it's worth it.
Well, I'm really excited. First of all, girl, let me compliment your glasses. Love them. They're super cute.
Thank
You're
you.
yes. So I'm going to read Elvira's uh bio because that's what we always do. And if you are, whether you're drinking cafe, water, wine, whatever, you could share what you're having with us, and then I will share what I'm having, and we will get down into the chisme. So Elvira is the visionary founder of Thrifts, not with a T, thrifts.com and Chicano Elegance, creative platforms rooted in culture, community, and conscious expression. As a culture ambassador and advocate for representation, she serves as the primary bridge between the organization and community, building spaces where heritage meets innovation. So, yeah, that's so exciting. I love um talking to creative people in that aspect. I mean, there's creativity runs the gamut of all types of things, right? But when it comes to fashion that represents our community, I love talking about that because it's so needed. I think we're seeing more and more, but to me, it's never enough. We need to.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not because I mean, we have been getting the warning since the 70s. So before, it became now it's trendy and I guess that's okay. I'm not mad at that, but we have been getting the warnings, guys, that we are destroying the planet faster than it can rebuild itself. And it comes in all types of forms, from like our electricity, our gas, food, construction. And I wanted to talk about the one thing that I love, which is fashion, and how that is also a huge contributor to the pollution and to what's going on. So the reason why I say that is because a lot of people don't like to be told to change things or, don't do this and, don't, use the straws anymore and don't use the bags. And people get very upset because we are very used to our routines and our habits. But when it comes to me in fashion is why like listen, if I can do my style and my fashion in a green way, which I love and I don't want to give up, you can do other things too. It doesn't mean that because you love it you have to completely throw it away. You just have to find a new way of doing what you love.
Yes, and we're going to get all into that. But before we get started, what are you partaking of today? Water, wine, coffee, what you
it
got?
It is a little Arnold Palmer, which is lemonade and iced tea. And it's every time I go to a restaurant and I say Arnold Palmer, people think it's like a drink, like a hard liquor. Like, no, it's really just
Really?
lemonade and iced tea. And the reason why I get it is because the lemonade sometimes it's way too sugary for me, and the iced tea has like nothing. So when they meet in the middle, for me, it's perfect. So that's what I usually tend to drink.
Yeah, I used to be back in the day, I used to be a server, and I feel like when I was a server, it was very, very popular. But I do the same thing. Like lemonade is too sweet for me as well, but I usually water it down. So if I go somewhere, I'm like, can I get half lemonade, half water? Because it
Hmm.
is so sweet. But and I have shared this a few times. One of the reasons and I'm not a big sweets person, especially like I don't drink a lot of soda. I don't, but I've realized, and my mom told me when I was like I don't know, 18, 19, something like that, is she used to water down all my drinks. So if she'd give me like fruit juice, she'd put water in it. She'd give me soda, she'd put water in it. Like everything would have, like she didn't want me drinking too much sugar. So she'd water everything down. So when I would actually drink something, it would be like sugar shock.
Is your mom my mom? Because that's the reason why I am the way that I am is my mother. I'm not a big sweets person either because it is bad for you. Yes, we love it. It tastes great, but it is like the crack. It's not good for us. We can't do a lot of the
And
sugar. It's same thing
everything
as the
has
crack.
sugar. Everything.
It's
Um,
bad. It really is. Your
yeah.
your body will beat you up later in life, and it'll make you, question all the decisions and regret all the times that you went hard on the sugar. I promise you. So I'm not saying, like I said, don't cut it all the way, but like your mom did the right thing because she basically conditioned you not to be such a fiend for sugar. And my mother did the same thing for me, even though sometimes, we fought it. It's like, I want to have the whole
Yeah.
donut. It's like, no. I want to have the thing. It's like, no. But now I thank her for it because my health thanks her for it. So it was, yeah, your
Yes.
mom's like my mom.
Well, the only sugar I approve is the sugar that's in the wine because it's preserved me.
Yes, yes. I need to learn how to actually drink the wine because I don't think I'm doing it properly and I'm just drinking it just to drink it. And I'm like, you know what? This is not okay. So one day I need to take like one of those cool little classes on how to actually drink the wine and appreciate the wine rather than just drinking it like a beer or like, like that's not how it works.
You know what? I've been thinking about doing another like a wine tasting experience. So you know what? That's actually probably a good idea. It's very, I mean, look, it doesn't have to, wine does not have to be snobby. I think growing so many of us growing up, we think like wine is really bougie and everything. And it actually doesn't have to be. I think it's just how it's been marketed for so long. And I have so many Latina-owned wine brands that I support and, on the directory and everything like that, that I've learned so much more about it. So actually today is one of those. We have Cremosi Vineyards. Actually, oh, there we go. Cremosi
Oh,
Vineyards. It's a Pinot Noir. This is a Latina-owned wine brand. And she's
nice.
based out of Oregon. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I was in Oregon last year. So I got the chance to meet Sophia and to sit down with her and tour her winery, taste her wine. It was so lovely. And they're known for their Pinot Noirs. If I'm being completely honest, I actually recorded something earlier. So this is now my second class. Thankfully, I had, a couple hours between interviews. So I won't be completely borracha.
And even if you are, that makes it fun. So I'm here for
Yes.
it.
Well, salud, salud.
Salud.
Oh, love it. Now, before, like, I want to kind of just jump into it because we were talking prior to me hitting record, and I was one of the things that you've openly said and you've already said is the importance of sustainable living and the small decisions. And I want to know like how that started from you. Like I think a lot of us, a lot of the people that listen, probably many of us grew up with using containers from something that finished and we use it for constantly repurposing stuff, constantly using, like you were joking, the SNL skit with Pedro Pascal where he throws away the cookies from the tin and starts putting all the sewing. I remember that specifically from my grandma. She totally would do that. Using the butter containers to put in, rice and beans and all of those things. Like constantly, I was even telling you it's how hard it is for me to get rid of like glass things because I'm like, well, I can use it, but girl, there becomes a point where you just have too many and you got to start recycling that stuff. So, where I'm sure that's where it started from you, but where, like growing up, was that something that would be discussed, or how did you navigate that, or how did your family navigate those conversations, if at all, growing up, or was it just something that was just done and you saw and kind of
I
absorbed?
grew I, I grew up in Lima, Peru, and there you don't talk about it. That's just how we all conduct ourselves. There is no, everybody's doing it. Unless you were the top tier 1% of class over there, which is very rare. Most of us, that's how we lived our lives. So we always used buckets. And when you go to the store, when they wrap your your goods, your like vegetables or fruits, they did it in old newspaper, and you use the reusable bolsa, the bolsa de mercado bolsa. And so it was just that was normal to us. You didn't even think about it. It's kind of like right now, when you get up, you get in your car and you do the things in your car. You don't think about getting in the car. You just already automatically. So that's just the same way it was. So that's what I had growing up, and it was fine. We all did it and it was normal. When I got here to the States in 1991 and I was 10 years old, it was a culture shock. My jaw dropped. I was like, okay, the wastefulness is unbelievable. It was then, it still is now. And I kept my opinions to myself at 10 years old, but I was just like, you guys are so wasteful. Like, why do you
That's
do that?
crazy.
Like,
That's something that you automatically picked up at 10 years old.
yeah, I was like, everybody here's so wasteful. Like they would like somebody would have like a cool little notebook and they would write a couple things and then it's like, oh, we're going from third grade to fourth grade. They threw the whole notebook away. And I'm like, there's still like a bunch of pages left. Like, oh no, but it's this whole thing, and people are gonna hate me for saying it, but I'm gonna say it. Back to school is such a scam because your kid doesn't need a new backpack every year. I mean, unless their backpack was this tiny and for the next year they needed, like, it's a scam. I'm sorry, it really is.
Yeah.
Yes, they probably need new pencils or whatever, but they don't need a whole new backpack and then they throw the last thing away. They got you with the scam, guys. They're like, "Oh, it's back to school. You need all new things." Like, no, you don't. That they got you. They got all your money and they know what they're doing, but you're falling for it.
I did not get a new backpack every year. I got a new backpack when the other one fell apart. That's
Exactly.
that's when I got a new backpack.
Exactly. Like I carry a backpack that I think it's like for, I don't know, junior high kids, and it serves what I need as a 40-something-year-old woman. Like it works for me. So like guys, it's not that serious and you gotta throw everything out and get something new. Or God forbid, something chipped or whatever. Oh, throw it away, get another one. Like, you could just give it that a little paint, or you could just fix it with a little Gorilla Glue. Like just the wastefulness that I saw and continue to see, it was like, okay. And let's say your choices by doing that didn't affect the world, then you know what? Throw everything away every day. That's okay. But it does. And that's why I have something to say about it, because it does affect the way that our world lives. And that's why people will say, hey, my refrigerator ain't what it used to be, or they don't make, washer and dryers like they used to make them.
They
And
do it
the
on
and the
purpose.
it's on purpose. They don't make them because they want you to buy one every 2 years or every year if they can. They make them crappy so they could fall apart. And that's the wastefulness. And what happens to that? Landfill. And then what happens to that? So it's just a huge constant poisoning of ourselves. And I don't understand it, but I don't understand how some people end up drug using and poisoning themselves either. But we're doing the same thing. It's just the drug is our consumption.
Yeah. Ooh, the drug is our consumption. Oh, yeah, that's very, very powerful. That's just a very powerful phrase. When you were 10 years old and you moved here and you were seeing this, did you notice, like, did your family change their ways? Like, did that affect you guys in any way, kind of being more like a little bit, even if it was just at the little bit less mindful, or was that something always top of mind? Like, you know what? We're not doing this because of whatever reason, because that's not what we do, because this is wasteful. Or did any of that rub on, did the American, quote unquote, American culture, wastefulness culture, consumption culture, rub up on you and your family?
As a kid, you want to fit in because school is horrible. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody gets bullied, you get talked about, whatever. We all go through that experience. I don't know anyone that hasn't. And so you want to fit in and you want to be the norm. And the norm was wasteful, but I wanted to be the norm. So I would have multiple arguments with my parents, like, why can't we throw this out? And why do we have to keep reusing and blah, 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 blah. And they were just no. They were putting their foot down, like, we're not doing that. Just because they want to act the whole fool, we're not going to join the circus with them. We're going to let them do them, but we're not doing that. So as a kid, I didn't get it. I just wanted to be like the normal kids, right? But then once I graduated high school, I'm like, I don't want to be like y'all. My parents were right. Like, I don't want to be anything like y'all. Like,
You're like,
I don't
y'all
get
are
it.
a
I don't
bunch of
like it.
fools.
I don't like it, and I'm not here for it. And again, it's one of those things, like, if your choices don't affect anyone but you, do you, and God bless. But when they affect all of us, then there is a problem. And that's when I have to speak up about it. And like I said, in the future, which we are already in, we're gonna have, more messed up climate and more fires and and the ice is melting, so the tides are higher and things are flooding, things are sinking. And I'm thinking, where are y'all gonna live? Like, do you guys know of another planet that I'm not aware of, that's your plan B when this one goes to hell? Because I know I don't. So where were y'all planning to live? And let's say, I don't get to experience the water world version of our times. If I had kids, they would. And so let's say you don't care about you and that's your choice. Great. Don't you care about your kids and your grandkids? Where are they going to live? What are they going to eat? What are they going to breathe? So for me, I always bring it up to parents, even though I'm not a parent, but I have no shame in telling parents, if you truly love your kid, you know what goes far? It's not just putting a post about them and how much you love them. What goes far is securing their future. Because you can do an entire website and TV series about how much you love your kid and tattoo your kid's name on your forehead if you feel like it. That does nothing for their future. You're not securing their future with their health and their well-being and actually have a future. And that to me shows more love than all of the grand gestures that at the end of the day they're cool, but they really don't mean anything.
Yeah. When that no, it's absolutely true. It's we see that in so many things. I don't know if you saw, I don't know if this came across your social at all, but a couple weeks ago I was watching this video and it was literally this girl, she goes to like the thrift stores and buys sweaters, like knitted sweaters and stuff. And she like has a machine that undoes all of the knitting, all of the yarn. And at the end, she had three big things of yarn that it took to make one sweater. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, that is so much material because you look at a thing and you're like, oh, that's a lot of yarn, but you don't think of how much it takes to make something. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, like, and then she repurposes it to make other things and everything like that. So obviously there's a lot of people that do not do, I don't do that. I can't do that.
Neither can
But
I.
yeah, I'm like, please, I can hem my clothes, I can patch something really quick, but when it comes to like that type of my grandma, she was my mom, not really, and I didn't get that either. I didn't get that either. I'm sure I could if I really wanted to. Pero my mother-in-law, my husband can, my mother-in-law, so I got it there. They can do stuff for me if I really
Yeah.
need it.
It's
But
beautiful. I love that. And now I've seen more innovation than ever. So it makes me happy. It's like a double-edged sword. Yes, we're still going crazy on the spending, and I can tell because I mean, I'm not in your house. I don't know what you're ordering, but the results of how much money Walmart and Amazon and Temu are making, that tells me that you guys are buying and buying a lot.
yeah.
Like y'all ain't got to tell me. I can already tell. Like the literal receipts are there on how much we are spending, and there's things that we have to spend on, I get it. But things that we can repurpose, resell, reuse, recycle, we can just make a little bit of an effort now. Doing the whole machine yarn thing, that's awesome, but can I do that? Well, that's a lot. But what I can do is, if I have a pair of jeans and I no longer want to wear them, they no longer fit, you know what? I can take these and I can donate them to someone that can wear them, or I can take them to a what is it called? A fabric recycling center, and they take all the fabrics, good, bad, ugly, old, what have you, and they repurpose them into new things, or just turn them into fibers that can be used for insulation and all kinds of other things. Like it's gonna go somewhere that's not the landfill.
So that is actually a good thing because I think often, and myself included, the first thing we think of is when we want to get rid of stuff is to donate it, whether it's to Goodwill, Salvation Army, like AMBA, any of those things. But they still throw away a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, don't
So to
donate to
take
Goodwill or the what is it, oh my gosh, Salvation Army. Neither
Salvation
of those.
Army,
Not neither of those, because they just push it from one end of the earth to another one. So those are no-nos.
Okay, so tell me more about the fabric. What did you call them? The fabric donation centers?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many there are, and that's the sad part. But here where I'm at in Los Angeles, there is one. They're called Sway, Suay, and they're located in downtown LA, and they take all the fabric and they have a warehouse where they employ people who, take the fabric, wash it, cut it up, and now they're making jackets, bedding, all kinds of things, and whatever can't be remade into another item just gets sent to this place that turns them into fibers, and that gets sold and used in different kinds of things, whether it's like construction or, like I said, ventilation, what have you. So they're an incredible, and I wish we had way more of these all over the world because it just makes for a difference. And like I said, for people that are like, well, I love fashion, honey, if you love fashion, you really should love upcycling because you can do um exchange of closet items with your friends. You can go and thrift shop, you can go and do so you can stay really relevant fashion, high end, even fashion forward. You could even have something repurposed into something modern. And so there's so many different ways of continuing to keep your passion without hurting the planet, because buying these $5 dresses from Shein or whatever you're doing, that's not it. That really isn't it. And you talked about how much it takes to create like a sweater. People have no idea how much water it takes to create just one pair of jeans. So much water. And it's like in the future, we need water to survive. I don't know what y'all gonna drink. We're not gonna have wine. We're not having anything because we're not gonna have water. So, like, guys,
Yeah.
just for denim alone, tons and tons of gallons of water are used. They can't be used again because once it's got the toxins, what am I supposed to do with that water? Can't
Yeah.
wash with it. So there's a lot of scary, scary real facts out there that exist. And I don't want to scare your audience with it, but just know that it's very scary. So I want you to start changing little by little certain things, and the one that I'm well experienced in, like I said, it's fashion because that's what I love, and I like to wear new things, and that's not new because it just was made and it's new to me. Like, let's say you have a bad jacket and we have a swap, it's new to me, it's my new jacket, so
Yeah.
we have enough clothing on earth to fit everybody two, three, four, five times. We don't need to make any more. Trust me, we're good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, last year, yeah, I've lost a lot of weight over the last year. And I haven't bought anything new because I'm like, well, if I lose more, like it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, actually, the only thing that I've bought new to me is as far as clothing has been for my birthday. My husband took me to the Lisa 40th anniversary concert. And so we're like, well, let's dress like we're in the 80s. So this shirt that I'm wearing right now, this Wonder Woman shirt, I got like a pleather skirt and a jean jacket from the thrift store, right? And I got a pair of almost brand new Vans from the thrift store as well. So I got an entire outfit for like maybe $20. And I
There
wear
you
this
go.
like I've worn all the pieces multiple times. Maybe not
Of
together, but I've worn
Yeah.
all of the pieces multiple times. And now I'm like, okay, I've gotten to the point where my jeans don't really fit. I had some jeans from when I was thinner a long time ago that I grabbed from my parents' house. Like I've been trying to like recycle stuff that I used to have that fits again. But the same thing, I'm like, I get very, first of all, I'm of the mindset if I bring something in, I have to take something out. So if I um am bringing in a pair of shoes, then what pair of shoes can I donate? Do I not need anymore? What am I not using? So I definitely try and do that because I don't want to be an overconsumption person. But I feel like that's kind of been over the last maybe 7 to 10 years that I've really done that. I feel like before I was like, oh, I want it, I get it. I want it, I get it, whatever. But and then I also decided if I got something that was new, I would rather spend a little bit more and get something that's going to last longer than buy something at a discount store or at Temu. I've not ever ordered anything from Temu or anywhere else. And I only get a couple wears out of it and then there's holes or
I
it
love that you
starts
already know
fraying.
everything, honestly. You already know how to do the whole thing. You shop at the vintage secondhand, what have you, and look amazing, look fabulous. And then you rewear the stuff all the time with different pieces, different mix and match. There you go. And then you also find a way to just keep everything and keep it moving. And if you're gonna invest in something, yeah, like when I buy jackets, I'm not buying a $10 jacket because it's like buying a fake jacket. Like it's not going to keep you warm. You're going to freeze. Or really good boots or things that are worth the investment. Those capsule pieces that you'll wear from here till like you're 80, you know? So you buy those because they're a good investment. So yes, it might be like a two, $300, $400 sometimes, jacket. But if it's well made and it's good, you're gonna use that probably forever, and you don't want to get rid of that. I wouldn't suggest that for a frilly little whatever top that you're gonna wear twice, no. But for statement pieces, even denim, there's denim that will last you a lifetime and your kids' lifetime. Like they're not gonna tear away no time soon. So if you invest in those, then you're good. And so you kind of already have the formula. And see, it's not hard. Like you're not it doesn't bug you or hurt you to do things the way that you're doing them versus just purchasing something. And here's the other thing. People are going to tell you like, well, it's fast, it's quick, and it's cheap. Okay, and there's a saying in Spanish that lo que es barato sale caro. So just because it's cheap, it's not gonna be cheap for a long time. We have in our planet deal with a lot of carcinogens, so things that are causing cancer in our system, right? People are like, oh, it's everything that we eat. It's not just what you eat, it's also what you put in on your body. Your skin absorbs it. So when you're buying the cheap clothing that's not even made from fiber anymore, it's made from like PCV, plastic, yo que sé, you're literally wearing plastic. Your body is absorbing the plastic all day. Those are carcinogens, and that's what's going to get you into the cancer lane real fast. And you don't want that. Why would you want to do that? And then if you sweat, God forbid, that's even worse. So these things that they're making them with, they're not cotton anymore. They're not wool. They're literally plastic. I promise you. And so going cheap is going to cost you your health, your what is it, your life, the way you live your life and your quality of life. Is it really worth it to buy this $10 thing to mess around with your quality of life? I don't think so.
Wine break. Time to refill that glass and come back for more wine and chisme. Ever wonder where you can find the wines I drink that are made by people who actually look like us? Mi gente, I got you covered because I created the first and most comprehensive directory of Latina-owned wine brands based in the United States. And yes, it is exactly as good as it sounds. From California to Puerto Rico and everything in between, I mean, we are talking about over 100 Latina-owned wine brands, all in one place, ready for you to discover, sip, and support. This is the directory that I wish existed before I built it. So you never have to search far to find wines that represent our cultura, our gente, and our stories. So head over to the wineandchismepodcast.com to explore the full directory. The link is also in the show notes of every episode, so you have zero excuses not to check it out. Oh, no, I agree. And I think that so often we just see something, we're like, oh, that's cute. And, it is rough. And look, I'm not saying I've never bought any clothes off Amazon or anything like that. I absolutely have. I, and there's sometimes where I'm like, I get actually the dress that I wore, the dresses that I wore last year for my sister's wedding in Cabo, she had like certain colors, and literally I could not find anything that would go with what the vibe was. And I'm looking and looking, I could not find anything. And the dress that I wore for her wedding day, I actually found it in like walmart.com, but I guess it was still coming from China. It was right before the tariffs, all this, that. And I was like, one of the reasons I don't always like ordering stuff online is because I like to see how it fits. Like I don't just like to blindly order, especially like I said right now with losing weight. But look, I am very fortunate that I have a first of all an amazing mother-in-law, but secondly, and a mother-in-law who's basically a seamstress who can help me with a lot. So we actually like it would probably with the zipper would have probably fit now, but the zipper wouldn't fit for like a couple of inches. So we removed the zipper completely. She found some elastic that was the exact color of the dress. We put it like we made it fit me, right? Like we made it fit me. And have I worn it again? No, but do I keep it in my closet? Yes, because I will absolutely like it's a summer dress. I'm gonna wear it again. I'm gonna like because I'm like, no, I am not gonna let like it's a dress that I could wear if my husband takes me out on a nice date again. It's something that
Yeah.
I could wear, it's not something that I want to throw away. So when after you graduated, you're like, I don't want to be like these people. So when did this like real consciousness in regards to preserving fashion, recycling fashion. When did that kind of start? Was that something that started when you were in high school, or is it something that really elevated afterwards? Was there something that kind of piqued your interest and you're like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do? How did that come about?
It, so it's like you said, you sometimes we make these purchases or do the things. Yeah, we all have. This isn't about what we did. It's about what we do now and going forward. Lo que ya pasó, ya pasó. What are you gonna do, right? Live and learn. And that's what I did when I was out of high school. My dad's a tailor. So I grew up around machines, fabrics, the whole nine my entire life. And I love fashion. So I was like, you know what? I want to get into this, but I had zero desire to design. So I thought, let me just do some resale. A lot of people do it. They buy the nice stuff, they bring it in and sell it. So I was doing that and I was purchasing from wholesalers, obviously 99% of them China. And it was going well. But then I started to see into my feed of social media, documentaries, and all these other things and news cycles, all of the bad that was happening in our world. I dove right headfirst into the rabbit hole and realized I'm contributing to this. This is not good. Like it seems harmless, but it's really not. And with that said, I just changed everything that I was doing and went into upcycling and just started doing what my dad used to do. He never threw anything away as far as like a fabric or a button or a zipper, not because he's a hoarder, because that man is very minimalist, but because he knew in his profession he was going to use a button again and a zipper again. And who knows where he may need these, scraps of whatever. So I started to take from what he did and I started to take things like the curtains. And I was like, oh, I don't want these curtains anymore. Let me make something out of it. Let me make pillowcases. Let me make a skirt. And so that's kind of how it just started. And it was just more of a fun, creative, and challenging way rather than, yeah, it's easy for me to order the fabric and the things. But I want to be like, you know what? And then it made it more special because the things that my father made me while growing up, they're special. They're one of a kind. Nobody can ever recreate it. Who knows where that zipper came from? Who knows where the hell he found that, fabric? It's like a big Frankenstein, but it's beautiful in its mind, and they made it so special. And these are things that I won't donate or give away because I like them. I keep them. I wear them, and and they're special. So I thought, why not take the same experience that I'm having with other people? So if you have these, I don't know, a big dress that somebody passed down from the family, rather than keeping it hoarding style in a box and it gets mothy and it just collects dust, why not frame the dress? If you don't want to frame it, why not repurpose it and make it into something that you can wear? There is no point in keeping these things in boxes and bags in a closet in the dark or in storage. I don't see what that does. But if you actually use it, make it into a mantel, I don't know, the possibilities are endless. You're actually honoring this dress and the history of how it started. And now look, it's this. And now I'm going to pass it into that. And it keeps a purpose rather than just keep stocking things up. And when it comes to hoarding, because we are a very consumption family, society, it leads to a lot of mental issues where people call it retail therapy. I understand the quick fix that it gives you, the little jolt, but then buried in all this stuff. And now you become like a
Yeah.
hoarder because now you're just buried in boxes and things and stuff you're not going to wear. When the people used to do, I'm doing a haul today. Look, I bought 30 dresses. And I was like, girl. And then they do it again next week. It's like, you have a spending problem because why would you need 30 dresses each week as a haul? That makes no sense. Even celebrities don't even need that. So like, no. And so I can already tell that a lot of this, it's a physical damage to the environment, but it's also a mental damage because once you add up how much money you spend, how much stuff you have, and now you're buried in it and you don't know what to do with it. So all of it is just a bad cycle when if you slow down and do things with more intention and more purpose, your closet would be screaming more of who you are rather than looking like a closet that just came straight from, your Amazon wish list. And it's just, it doesn't have any story, it doesn't have any personality, it's just stuff.
And every year, every season, trends change. Every year, trends change. So you're like constantly one of the favorite things I love to see on my social media is when like, oh, my grandma gave me all of these clothes, let me try them on, or my mom gave me all of these clothes, let me try them on. And they are impeccable. They are so amazing, and they're not things that you can get now. Like that, like you
Nope.
said, and they'll even show photos of their grandma, their mom, or their tia, or whoever with them. And sometimes, like, I just love seeing that. Right now, I've been seeing these videos of this girl. Her mom used to work at Calvin Klein, so she's the mom and the daughter doing these videos together. And she's like, "Oh yeah," and the daughter's trying on the clothes that the mom got when she worked at Calvin Klein, and they are pieces that are so timeless. Like they are still very current, still very timeless because they have classic lines. They're not trendy. And I think that's like they're not chasing a trend, and I think that's what's so lovely. And I also love um I'm not sure if you're familiar with Cadena Collective.
Hmm.
So, okay, so friends of mine, they've been on the podcast, we've done stuff together, and I love how they are really working with artisans from Mexico and other Latin American countries and a lot of the stuff is truly like handmade. A lot of the dresses, it's not like they don't get bulk stuff. They are, yes, they're ordering a few things, but some things are okay, well, it's going to take this long to get it or whatever, because they really want to make sure that, first of all, what they have on the website is actually selling. They don't want to just have like this overload of stuff, but then it's made with love from Mexico or other Latin American countries, obviously mostly Mexico, but that it's truly um you know and it's also, and paying those people fair wages as well, because
Yep.
that's so important. And that's what I think people forget when it comes to fast fashion is
Yes.
these people are not being paid fair wages. These people are in really dire circumstances as these things are being made. The companies they don't care about the people. They just care about the profit. And we have to remember we can't put profits over people.
No, and that's why it's a circular thing. It affects everybody. And you're like, oh, what's a t-shirt? And it's like, yeah, the grand scheme of things, what's a t-shirt? But you and other 2, 3, 4 million people with a t-shirt, then you understand that that's where the demand comes. And these people, like I said, I've seen documentaries and they're treated worse than some of the shelter dogs. I mean, it's really bad. And they're just chained and they're just children and bad conditions. And if you bought a shirt for or a dress for $5 from them brand new, right? What do you think that the people that made it are getting paid for that? Just think
Pennies.
about that. Nothing. So so it's a huge thing that hits all of the things. And what you said about Cadena Collective is that those pieces are special. They're well made. One, two, they're not going to be plastic. And three, they're not mass manufactured. And so the way you shop, whether it's sustainable, repurposed, vintage, or whatever, then that's what makes the difference. And for the big companies that are like, well, what are we supposed to do? You know what you can do is take the stuff that you have as far as like the clothing and the materials and have your workers remake things rather than continue to throw things away. Because, let's say for the season, we did a whole bunch of cheetahs, some of it sold, some of it didn't. They just throw it away, all of it. And
Have you
yeah,
like when you're talking about that, the videos of like the luxury handbags instead of like they don't donate those materials, they just slice them, make sure that nobody could use them and throw them in the trash. All of
yeah.
this leather, all of these things that it could be used for something else. It is
And it's all part of
mind
the
blowing.
insurance reasons because when I used to, and this was when I was a teen, I was working at a food court, and whatever food we didn't use, we not only had to throw it away, we had to put bleach on it. And the reason for that, I'm like, well, that's messed up. What if someone's dumpster diving and they want to eat? Like, we're not using it. Why do we care? That's my human side speaking. The corporate side told me because of lawsuits. If a man, a woman, a child eats our sandwich from the trash box, they can sue us for food poisoning or whatever. So they destroy the food to not get sued. And I believe that the reason why they probably also destroy it is to also not get sued or to keep the demand going because one thing that big companies do, they write the loss. Oh, we didn't sell 20,000 bags, put the loss on there, they get their money back. And it has to be a loss. So they have to destroy it. So there is the human ethical part, and then there's the capitalistic part. So
So how
that's,
do we
I see,
balance those things? How do we
well,
balance that?
so you're never going to convince the capitalists to do the right thing. It's just not going to happen. We're just going to throw that out the window. They don't care. But what they care about is how we spend our money. Then they listen. They don't care if the children are dying, if the animals are disappearing. Girl, they don't care. But with our purchasing power, if they see that we're moving the money from their fast fashion, horrible practices to thrift shops, to secondhand stores, to all these things, trust and believe they're always paying attention to what we do and how we move. They will start to follow us and say, well, what can we do to get you back? What do we need to do? Well, you need to change the way that you do business. We don't want you out of business, but honey, whatever you're doing is not working out. It's horrible. So you can still stay in business, just rethink it and readjust it, do whatever you got to do so that it is kind to the planet, kind to the people that work for you, and kind to us in return. And that's all we're asking for. And you can stay in business and figure that out. And they can. They just don't want to because too many people are still buying from them. So why should they change? It's like in a relationship, you're with a man and he always cheats on you and you never leave him. Why is he going to change? You never leave him.
Yeah.
So he's going to do whatever he wants. There's no consequence for this man. He comes home and you're still there. That's how they look at us. We're still here buying their stuff. So why should they change? But the moment they start seeing the numbers decline, that's the only thing they care about. And then they run back asking, what can I do? I'm sorry. Let me get you back.
Oh, that's like that's so crazy. I think intellectually I knew that, but I don't think I've ever like fully thought that, right? Like you see it in the moment of when you see a video or something happening and you're like, that's fucked up. What the hell? And then but it doesn't fully change your consumption, right? You just
It does.
continue to do it.
And
Even
they're
though
going to
you
keep doing it because it makes profit. And I get it. Like the capitalists are going to do what the capitalists do. That's a whole monster that I totally understand. But how do we stop the monster? You have to stop feeding the monster. And that's kind of why I've seen so many beautiful things happen, which make me happy. Like these radical sewing clubs where people are like, bring your jeans and bring your whatever, and we'll teach you how to sew and how to mend and blah, blah, blah. They're fighting against that. Girls that are hosting swaps at their houses and they have, vino. So they have wine night and they bring their racks and they put their clothes and the girls have fun just swapping things. That's fighting against it. So there's so many fighting against what we want to change doesn't have to be ugly and draining and angry. There's a fun way to fight all this stuff. There really is. And it doesn't have to be so dreadful like some people think, like, oh, we have to stand in the rain, in the mud, and protest until we pass out. Like, no, Just stop spending over here and start spending over there. And if you still want to have fun with the fashion, go to these radical sewing clubs, go to these fun fashion nights with your girls and do some swaps, do all these fun things with your girls, go to the, have a day where you do brunch and then you go to the secondhand shops, which are usually mom and pops, and have a fun shopping day there versus the mall and Forever 21 when it used to be around or whatever. So you don't have to, it doesn't have to
Oh,
be
Forever
draining
21. I
or
remember
cost
those
you your
days.
fun. You can have fun while radicalizing.
There you go. So tell me how thrifts.com and Chicano Elegance came about and what you're doing with those platforms.
So right now, so thrifts again came about creating, upcycle designs. And because I do everything, it takes me a minute to restock because I have to get behind the machine and do all of that. But I don't have a problem with it because it's slow fashion and anything that I want to create is going to be special. And I love doing it. So it makes my heart smile when I do that. And I'm in the process of, working all that out and redoing the site. So that's another, we're always, you know how it is as a creative. You start and then the next season, what can I change? What can I do to elevate? What can I do different? So that's the same thing with my brand and we're always evolving. And it's been around since 2001. I started as Wardrobe Divas, but I wanted to be not just exclusive to women and open it up to everybody. So then Thrifts is just a very genderless name. So I can do whatever I want on there and it makes me free, right? And then the reason why Chicano Elegance started was because being in the fashion world and going to fashion weeks and doing all these things, I noticed that there wasn't ever representation of who we were as a culture. And it was just frustrating. And I was waiting for something to be an event like a red carpet and a fashion week, but for us, kind of like again, I bring back Cadena, like their stuff screams cultura and it screams high design and it screams glamour. It just does.
These earrings are cadena.
Yes. So it screams glam, it screams rich, all these beautiful things, but I never saw it on the runways ever. And so waiting for over 2 decades for somebody to do it, I just said, okay, listen, how old am I going to be before I get to see this fantasy? And I created this event, and it's kind of like a fashion week, like a little Met Gala where we have a red carpet, step and repeats, interviews, gift bags, open bar, seating and dinner and entertainment and a fashion show, all of it. We didn't cut any corners, but we just replaced the players. So no more of the people that are gatekeeping and telling us how we should dress and what their definition of glamour is. And I said, no, let's bring what our definition of glamour is. And it can be, rebosos, it could be things that are woven, handmade, feathers, indigenous, things that are even now street culture, like pachuco, you got all these things. And it was such a beautiful night. And honestly, that's all I ever wanted to see in my life before I exit, is to see an entire glam night by us, for us, starring us, without having to code switch or having to be, the token. And that's why that started. And even though it was supposed to be a one and done, it keeps going because people have told me that emotionally and I guess it motivates them as well. So they need something like this, a platform like this for different creatives to have their moment and their shine of their art. So we have it once a year. And that's really the basis of what it's all about, just to do for other people what it did for me. It made me happy as heck to see us like the royalty that we really are.
That is okay. I next time I would love to participate. I would love to be, however, I mean, look, I can bring some wine. I can who like tell my vintners, hey, we're doing this, and I'm sure they would be happy to participate. Have you connected with Cindy Castro as well?
No,
She's a designer. She's in New York, and so she has her own line. And
oh,
actually, one of the dresses I'm wearing in here on one of these pictures on my wall is one of her dresses. And
oh, okay.
she does like high fashion stuff. And it's
Yeah.
so lovely. And people might think, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. They might look at some of the things from Cadena, it's so expensive. But again, the materials that are being used, the way that it's being done, it's very intentional. It's not mass produced. Like, I think that's such a thing that we have to. I know that we are in this microwave society. Daisy, no, my dog got, she heard something. And that we want what we want it, when we want it, how we want, like immediately. But we kind of have to remember the adage, like good things come to those who wait. When it comes to, I think, when it comes to fashion, like it doesn't always have to be so quick and easy, because there's a reason it's quick and easy, right? There's a reason of
Same
that.
thing with food, girl. The quick fast food isn't the greatest. It just here's, whatever they zapped in the microwave. It's not the greatest. But when you go to a restaurant and the señoras make the tortillas a mano and all these other things and the sauces, Taco Bell and actual Mexican food, like, that's what it is. You want your Taco Bell fashion, or do you want like the Cadena fashion and the Cindy Castro fashion? That's what it is. And it takes time because it's better made, it's well made, and not just some microwave zappable thing. And I don't want to be a jerk by saying it, but it looks, when we're on the street and you are putting something on that you paid some good money for and it's special, it looks like it, and people look at you like, where'd you get that? And where, I'm sure
You
you've
feel
gotten those
better, you'd
compliments.
walk taller.
Yeah. And people are like, where'd you get that? And where can I get that? It's like, well, I got it here. And no, you can't get it. It's mine, because
Yeah.
it's unique.
Uh,
And so
oh,
that's
anytime
special.
I have these in a white color as well. And they're a little bit smaller because I wore that with my Cindy Castro dress that I had ordered from her. And which was custom. I mean, it's a dress that she has on her website, but it was custom made for me. Like, had like the way I could say, oh my gosh, I had this dress that's custom made for me.
Yeah, it's special. And that's what life is about, because when we live life so fast, we don't enjoy any of it, because it's like, bye, 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 here it is. You throw it in the closet, and then your face is still like, oh, like there's nothing special. And but
Yeah.
when you get something that's beautiful, that it's worth it, and it's just more special. So we have to slow down our fashion. We have to slow down our lives as well, because we live, and I'm a huge victim of this. We live so fast, we don't enjoy the moments. And next thing you know, it's been 10 years and you're like, wait, I haven't celebrated a damn thing. Like, what happened? Because we're just like, on to the next and on to the next. It's like, listen,
Yeah.
slow down. Celebrate the fact that you did another podcast, and celebrate the fact that you posted on your Instagram. Like, you have to celebrate these things, and we have to stop living so fast, because it's not an accident. It's by design. They want us living so fast so that we're moving on to the next thing and buying the next thing and downloading the next thing, because it makes them money. If we slow down, they don't like that. So just slow down and enjoy your life and celebrate more of the moments, and make them more special than what they really, we're not taking them for granted.
So, what are some things that people can do to maybe upcycle things that they already have? Maybe they don't know how to sew, but they want to do something because they don't want to throw it away. They still love the piece, but they just don't know what to do with it. Maybe it doesn't fit right anymore. Or maybe it's a little like, they're like, if it just had this one thing, like, how could people like slowly be able to maybe upcycle what they currently have?
There's so many what is it, local handmade creators. So there's tailors and seamstresses that can take, a dress that doesn't fit, make it into a beautiful blouse, or take the bordado, because some of them have, like, especially like some Mexican pieces have a lot of bordado. They can take the bordado and repurpose them into something else, and just kind of just use that, because I've done that in the past. And then if you want to get even more sentimental about it, let's say it was like a grandma piece or something, there's maybe even somebody out there who is a handmade person that could create like a Mona and take the version of that dress and make it into a Mona version. And now you can have this doll with your grandma's dress forever. And it's on display and not in a closet, in a bag, or a box. So you can definitely take these special pieces and keep them around forever, frame them up, do a photo shoot, repurpose them into something else. And like I said, one of the cool ones is, getting one of those big, big dolls and just making it mini of what it was. And somebody, a tailor, a good seamstress can definitely do that for you. And then that way you always have it. So you don't need to throw away pieces that are special to you, but they have to be special to you, because I don't want to throw my mom under the bus, but there's a fine line between upcycling and hoarding. There's a very
Yes,
fine line, y'all.
agree. Agree.
And God bless her, but man, my mom just kept everything. And it's like, Mom, this is not special. And she's like, oh, but I might need it. You're never gonna use it. And there's nothing special about this. So like it really has to be special. It can't be like, the dress that you bought on sale at Macy's 5 years ago. Ma'am, there's nothing special about that dress at
Yeah.
all.
No,
You know?
you legit have me thinking, what could I do with my wedding dress? Because
Hmm.
I had a hysterectomy, so I'm not gonna have birth any babies.
Hmm.
I have two sons that I now have, through my marriage, who I love and adore, but they don't need my wedding dress, right? And I'm thinking, but you literally have me thinking it's been sitting in a bag in in my closet for 2 years. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Because I don't, it was expensive, right? It cost a lot of money, but I don't want to just get rid of it. It's still very special to me, but I'm thinking, but you have me thinking, what could I do with this? Like, I would love to be able to repurpose it. I have no idea how I would do it, but you do have the wheels turning.
Yeah. Pinterest and Google is your friend. Sometimes you could ask him, hey, how can I repurpose my wedding dress? And I'll start throwing you all kinds of ideas like, oh, maybe you could do this. Maybe you could use the veil on like a headpiece. So when you go out for like girls' night, you could have a cool little veil. Because if you look at the people on Fashion Week girls, sometimes they be wearing all these cool veils or on their hats or on their hair. So there's still ways of you to continue to honor these pieces by just finding new uses for them and not having to get rid of it because that is special. Can't just throw that out and be like, oh, like, no, those things are really special.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I know you said to not donate to Goodwill or Salvation Army. What are the
Mm-mm.
places that if we're able to find and you can Google fabric donation centers, isn't there? I thought there was one that they would send you a bag and you could send it to them and they do recycle. Do you remember? Do you know the name of that? I've seen it. I saw it several times on social media and I never saved it like a dummy. But they're like, but they even show you like, okay, this is what they've kind of show you the process. When we get your bag, this is what we do. And I think they start taking like they cut up the fabric and they want to reuse it and stuff. Do you happen to
Yeah,
know the name of that?
Thread Up. It's called Thread
Thread up.
Up. And
Uh-huh.
you go on their website and you go through a little bit of a rabbit hole, but they will send you a bag, and you put the things that you want to send to them, and what they do with it is they let you know what was usable, what wasn't, and then you get I think it's like a coupon. And then with this coupon, you can use it to purchase whatever you want from their site. And they sell everything that is secondhand use, pre-loved. So if again you're like, you know what, I need a pair of boots or I need a cool tie or whatever, now you have this 10-20% off coupon that you can use on their website and you're purchasing again from the cycle of recycling while you got rid of your stuff and they either put it up for sale and whatever they couldn't use, they recycle.
So okay, so there's a good option. And then also like those smaller vintage shops, right? Like
Yes, I
not
give
those
a lot to
quote
my
unquote name brand ones.
Yeah, especially if there's a mom and pop shop, I love giving them stuff and they're so happy to take it because they make money on it. And again, circular economy. So to me, that's donating, making sure that here you go, have it, sell it, and they make money on it and their store stays, open and I feel great about it. There's also different programs. So like let's say you have I don't know, bridesmaids dresses or things of that nature. You're probably not going to wear again, right? There are places that collect special dresses for the girls that can't afford prom. So for the girls that can't afford prom, I'm sure they would love your fancy schmancy dress that you only wore once and they need something for prom. So you can send that kind of stuff there. And then for things that are not like prom or whatever, there are places that help women when they get out of prison and they have nothing. So they'll take your clothing. Are domestic shelters and domestic abuse, places that also take your stuff for women that have left abusive relationships and have nothing. They will appreciate your sweater and all these other things. So there's different ways of donating your clothes that don't go to these Salvation Army, whatever, because one, they're just very unethical, and two, they make billions of dollars and they are not really re-putting those back into the community as much as the commercial says they are. They're not. And so you rather do it for yourself. You put it back into the community and don't wait till someone says, oh, we're going to put it back into the community. No, I'm going to put it back into the community myself by giving to shelters and high schools and prison systems and anyone else, and maybe a mom and pop shop that just sells things that are secondhand vintage. You're like, hey, senora, can you use some of these sweaters? I promise you they'll take it if they're sellable. And again, there's also ThredUp. If you make it easy, they send you a bag, you send the bag back, you get a coupon. So many different ways now of doing things. And that's what makes me happy because 10 years ago, there wasn't. It was just Salvation Army or throw it away.
Yeah. No, I think we probably, and I didn't even realize there were so many different avenues. And I've seen those ones where like they help women in domestic violence shelters or anything like that, or homeless women, like when they're trying to go for job interviews and helping them get dressed for those interviews. I've seen them, but I guess I've never paid attention. So what I'll do is if you know of any of them, but I'll go through Google and maybe put some of the links to those in the show notes to make sure that people have at least a starting point, because I think so many of us want to do that, but then we go through our day-to-day life and forget, right? And that's not, those things are not like always advertised. Like we have to remember and seek it out versus just passing something on the street or just knowing something. And that's such a good point in regards to all of those different avenues that we're able to donate to.
And ask your audience too. Say, hey, you guys know of a place that, needs clothing for the girls for prom or anyone that knows of a domestic shelter? Just ask and you'd be surprised. Some people know, and they might even be closer local to you than you think. And then people will say, yeah, here, blah, blah, blah. And they all just start throwing in all the things. So it gets the
Yeah.
conversation started just to keep it fresh on their mind.
No, that's amazing. So if you guys know of places, like let us know. We'll share them, especially like, well, for homeless shelters and domestic violence shelters, that's something year round. Obviously, during certain times of the year for those prom dresses and everything like that, we can put those up. But there's always somebody who could use. We think that what we have is whatever. But I think sometimes we forget how blessed so many of us truly are and how somebody could really use what we have that we think is trash, right? What's one person's trash is somebody else's treasure.
That's how I grew up. All my stuff came from secondhand stores and the really, affordable places. And it was, we needed it and I appreciated it. So trust me, someone out there is going to appreciate it just like I did growing up.
Yeah, I try and get rid of stuff a couple times a year, and I keep like right now I'm in the middle of like, okay, what am I really not gonna need anymore? Because like I said, I've lost weight. But now I'm like, okay, where can I now it's instead of just dropping it off, now I'm like, okay, where could these things really be used? So you have me thinking as well, Mujer. What is next on the horizon for you? What's going on your end? When does Chicano Elegance, when does that normally happen? What are you working on for your thrifts.com site? Like what's happening with you?
So I'm excited because this year I finally get to start designing more things for the line. And so that always makes me happy. So hopefully I'm going to give myself August or September, I should have my uh, site redesigned and have all of these new items up. So that's going to be exciting for me. And then the other thing with the gala, that's going to happen in September in San Bernardino. So we're preparing for that as well, because it's so many different things that we do for a very short night, but the formula has always worked out where we have artists, entrepreneurs, fashion designers, music, entertainment, and the whole community coming out. And we always encourage everybody to dress their absolute best. Like, I want you to not just think of, oh, this is another, because we don't give each other enough respect. If it's another Latino event, you don't put as much work into it, and that is the facts. Think of it if you just got invited to the Oscars, okay, and you want to show out. I don't care if you think it looks ridiculous. I want you to come in that because you're gonna feel like $1 million. You and your, crown piece or your giant hat or your huge train of a dress, be extra. So we always ask all our guests to come extra as hell because we don't want there to even be a difference between who's the performer and who's the model and who's the guest. I like it that everybody blends in and we're all just as fabulous as the next person. So we'll drop more information about the gala this September, but we encourage everybody to just come their grandest, because the whole point is for us to celebrate each other. And don't dim your light, don't play it safe, don't play it small. We only live once. Like, what are you waiting for to go all crazy? Go crazy now. Let us celebrate
That's
that. We love it.
right. I love that. Last, before I forget, when you've been building all of these things, what have been your biggest challenges or hurdles as you've been building not only Chicano Elegance, but thrifts.com, maybe whether it's your energy or whether it's creativity? Like, what have been like the biggest challenges for you on both of these fronts?
The lack of time. There's only so many hours in the day, right? And I have a million things to do. And I also still have a regular 9 to 5 job. I have things to take care of at home, and I'm a care giver for my parents. So finding the time is the biggest challenge, because I only have so many hours to answer the emails, to send the emails, to do the meetings. So that's been a challenge for many years, but I stay the course because I believe in what I'm doing, and even though I don't have it all together yet, I know that it's coming. So, and a lot of good things have happened. So I have to remind myself, like I said, to pause and not compare what I'm doing with anyone else, but just celebrate all the small wins that I've had and all the things that I've been able to do with the limited amount of time that I've had. So for anyone out there that's like, you know what, I'm not doing this as my full-time career, or things haven't taken off, it's a long process. Again, I started in 2001, everybody. That was 26 years ago, 25 years ago. Like, look at me, I'm still here. So when I tell you that whatever you do, let it be for passion. Because if you're doing it for likes or money or whatever, you're gonna get frustrated and you're gonna give up on it, because it doesn't come like that. It just doesn't. It's very few and far in between. So it better be passion, because it's gonna be a long game. And just, if you love what it is that you do, stick with it, and you'll figure it out.
Have you ever thought about, did the thought of quitting ever cross your mind?
All the time. All the time. But then I snap out of it, because then it's like, well, wait a minute. If I quit, then what am I gonna do? Just go to work, pay my bills, and that's it? No, I can't do that either. That probably get me all depressed. So I think I'd rather be frustrated and annoyed than depressed. I'm picking my battles here.
Yeah. But then because you're frustrated and annoyed with something you're passionate about, and that's worth it. Because I get it. There's times where I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to edit, or I don't want to, but ultimately, I'm like, I love this so much that I can't imagine. Like, I do have a part-time job as well, and I'm very fortunate with that, and and my husband, not gonna lie, who is very supportive of all of the things that I do. But I would rather have that feeling about something that I absolutely love, because I get over it very quickly. I get
Yeah.
over that moment really quickly. And sometimes I'm like, is anybody even listening? Does anybody even care? And it's like at that moment, somebody will give me feedback saying, oh my gosh, I just listened to this episode, or oh my gosh, I just tried this wine that was on the directory, and then I'm like, oh, it's all worth it. I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
And you're not alone. I'm always like, is anyone looking at this? Like, hello. Sometimes I'll send like a post, like, are you guys even alive? And they're like, yes, we're alive. Like, I'll get comments. I'm like, hello. Like, what's going on over there? So we always think about that. And it's because our mind is just such a jerk. So as long as we can get over that little, hesitant person in there that's always telling us things, we're gonna be okay. And definitely, once you edit and you post this on social media, collab me on there, because the more eyes, the better. And I love that it's a Chisme podcast too, because people are so chismoso. The
I know.
moment they hear anything with Chisme on it, they are like, let me hear what she had to say, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So, we're here to support each other and help each other out.
Oh, absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to add that we didn't touch on? I want to make sure that you're able to share everything that you want to share.
The only thing I can think of is that right now, because the Chicano Elegance Foundation is now a nonprofit since November of last year. So we're a baby foundation and we're trying to raise funding so that we can hire people to do all of the things that we want them to do. And right now we have a limited edition coffee table book that we created out of the last 3 years that we've done the gala. The gala was 2023 in LA, 2024 in Hollywood, and 2025 on the East Coast in New York. So we have the memories of all of that in this book, and it's really beautiful. So if people want to support what we're doing, they can go to chicanoelegance.com or Chicano Elegance on Instagram, and the information is there if they want to purchase themselves a coffee table book, and the proceeds go directly now into the nonprofit, a 501c. They could even write that on their, taxes if they want, because it's legit. But it helps us out so that we can continue doing the work that we're doing.
Well, congratulations on that. That's really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you again for everything. I appreciate it.
I love that you have created that. I love that you are, continually that you're talking about that, about sustainability, especially in fashion, because I think we see it more and more of all of these things. And then you see on the news like these, and it takes longer and longer to decompose because, like you said, they're not being made with natural fibers anymore. And so it will take a long time, if ever, to decompose. And it's just filling up our landfills with things that people thought they wanted, but they either didn't want it enough or it's just made so cheaply it just tears. And then, after a couple uses or a couple washes, and then they, chuck it out.
Yeah, and for people that are like, you know what, why should I do this? For you, what do you mean? It's not for me, it's for us. So do it for yourself. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, and if you have kids or young nephews or whatever, do it for them. How about that? Let that be your guiding light. Like, why should I do this? Well, do it for them. Do you want them to have a future and not eat plastic? Do it for them. That's all you got to do. And so that's what should be stuck in your brain anytime you make a choice of how you spend your money and how you move in this world. Think about the future, think about yourself, and let it be that, because you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for yourself.
That's right. We will make sure to put all of that in the show notes. We'll put your social, put the website, and then I'll look for a couple of different things as far as some places that you're able to donate, whether it's a domestic violence shelter or just a general, because obviously in every area it's going to be different. So if I can find something that kind of directs you to different places, I'll try and do that. But Elvira, this was such an enlightening conversation. It really, really was. You're making me think, like, I feel like I do think of these things, right? But maybe not enough. And maybe that's how a lot of people might feel like, okay, I've thought of it, but not enough. Or again, it's on the top of your mind for like a few minutes and then life happens and you forget and everything. And we forget to, like, of all of the different ways that we can donate, and that that it doesn't have to include Goodwill or Salvation Army, that there are so many other places that it would more likely be used as well. So I really, really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that I was able to plant a little seed. So now every time you're like thinking of something, you're like, oh, dang it, I have to do it the right way. All right, let me see how I can
I'm gonna
extend
have
the
a
life
little
of.
Elvira on my shoulder.
Yes, I am gonna be there annoying y'all, but it's okay. It is worth it. Extend the life of things. Don't just throw it all away. Trust me, it's gonna help us out in the long run. So thank you guys. Thank you to everybody. It's a group effort.
That's right. Until next time, mi gente.
Hola, mi gente. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Wine and Chisme podcast. If you would like to hear more wine and more chisme, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Saludos.